Hello.
Hello.
How are you, Tatjana?
I'm good.
You're good. Hello, everyone. Hey, so I think it's Dirk's last day on holidays. So
Second last.
No?
Tomorrow is his last, isn't it? Wednesday?
Yeah, tomorrow. And
Yeah.
the video is showing tomorrow.
Oh.
Yeah. So basically, yeah. And then he'll be back. So you're filling in for him?
Yes.
Very good. Thank you. So,
Do you have something on your heart?
Yeah. I'm preaching on Sundays, so actually this video is going to be shown on Saturday.
Okay.
So in preparation for that, and last Sunday we had prophetic words of knowledge in church,
Yeah,
had
that
empty
worked
chairs,
well.
and you liked it?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, and I think it was the right people
Yeah,
that
and
got
a lot
words.
of people had words. It was great. And
Yeah,
all ages.
Yeah, all ages. Yeah, the whole church. For those that weren't there, so there were 3 chairs up front. We put people in the 3 chairs, and then the whole church had the job of listening to God for a word for them. And lots of people had words.
It was great. And
So
it all blended in with each other.
Yeah. Some had a really, really good theme happening. So God was saying the same thing. And I even heard people like that are not confident in hearing from God, but what they got from God was spoken out aloud, which confirmed to them, actually, they were hearing from God.
Yeah.
So, from your long experience, how do these words come to you? How can you tell when
Generally
something
to a
is from...
person.
Yeah.
Generally, they're fleeting thoughts that pop into your head.
Yeah.
And very often, especially when you're starting out, it seems like maybe it's your own thoughts.
You're not sure whether
You're not sure if it's God, and with practice you learn to distinguish.
Yeah.
But there tend to be fleeting thoughts. Very often they're thoughts that you don't naturally have by yourself.
Yes.
Then when, like, I think you explained that on Sunday, then when your thinking sets in and you kind of question it a little bit because it's really weird, and usually the really weird stuff that is from God, or unusual stuff. But then when your thinking sets in, that is really you.
Yes.
But so the first thought, sometimes you get pictures, you have just a picture of something.
Yes,
I tend to be more visual, so I get the pictures. I think you tend to get more words.
A few of the children, I think Levi and Zani, they got songs on Sunday.
Yeah, that's
they
right.
looked at it, and then a song came to them, and and the lyrics of the song, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So there's different ways, and depending what the person's preference is. I mean, sometimes you may even get a smell or whatever.
Yes. Yeah. So what I found interesting, we were doing that in church, but when you look in the Bible, Jesus also used that tool of ministry, words of knowledge, prophetic words for people. And the interesting thing with Jesus is that in the Bible, we have quite numerous instances where he used it outside of the church with unbelievers, with people that were searching.
True. Yeah.
And, one really obvious one is when he talked to the woman at the well in Samaria. They were having this theological conversation, and in the middle of it, he gives her a word about her own personal life.
Yes.
And then continues from there. And I get to that in a minute. But then we have another one when Nathaniel was taken by his brother to Jesus and said, "Look, Jesus, check him out. I think he's the Messiah." And he said, "Oh, no, it can't be Jesus. He comes from Galilee. Nothing good comes from Galilee." And then he meets Jesus, and Jesus gives him a word of knowledge, saying, "Hey, a man without guile."
Okay.
And and then Nathaniel says, "Yeah, that's me." He recognizes it's a description of him. "How come you know me?" And then Jesus said, "I saw you sitting under the tree before you met me."
Okay.
So and then that word of knowledge.
And that's where he was sitting.
Yeah. So Jesus gave prophetic insight, which then Nathaniel, in response to that, followed him and said, "You're the Son of God, the King of Israel." So, a small word of knowledge, a small bit of information that only God could give, had this huge outcome. It changed his life. The other one in the Bible where it's not spelled out that it is a word of knowledge is, I think it is one. See what you think.
Yeah.
It's when Jesus is traveling through Jericho, the city, and a guy, a really short guy, climbs a tree so he can see Jesus because he's really interested, and his name is Zacchaeus. But Jesus is just traveling through, and I'm sure they were not introduced to one another. And so, Jesus travels, then he stands, looks up into the tree and says, Zacchaeus, come down. I need to be at your place. Who told him that it was Zacchaeus?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, true.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Seems to be a word of knowledge.
Yes, and then, you're called by your name. God knows you.
Yeah.
Prophetic knowledge. And then he comes and he gives his heart to God. Now, let's go to the woman at the well. And Jesus, they talk about the Holy Spirit and living water and, have this deep theological knowledge. And then suddenly Jesus says to her, I read in John chapter 4, go call your husband and come back. I have no husband, she replied. Then Jesus said to her, you're right when you say you have no husband. The fact is you've had 5 husbands, and the man you now have is not your husband. What you have just said is quite true. So what do you think about this particular word of knowledge?
That's a little bit confronting.
Yeah, it is a bit confronting. You think...
It's not a positive, you're my beloved daughter. Or whatever.
Would you be keen to give that word?
Yeah.
No, I can't see it.
Yeah, you'd be very careful.
Yeah, if God gave you that knowledge, I can't see you blurting it out.
No.
Like you would be, what's...
So, and especially because you go, well, what if it's not true?
Yes, but even if it is true,
delving into someone's past.
Yeah, and you don't want to point the finger and what's going on. Why does Jesus do it?
I think for her, it does mean he knows her, and then the way he ends it is he does accept her despite the way that he...
No, he just says what you've just said is quite true.
And then?
Yeah, and then she doesn't say that the word impacted her. She immediately says, I can see that you're a prophet. Our fathers worshipped on this mountain, but you Jews claim that the place where we must worship is in Jerusalem. And she immediately goes into another theological discussion. She deflects the issue. So they no longer talk about it. But later we find out that, she tells her whole village, I met this man and he knew all of my life. So he just said one sentence and she said, he knew all my life and she came to believe in him. So it was far more impacting than, initially the story would intimate. But why do you think...
But isn't there that part with the living water?
That was before.
Oh, that was before.
Yeah. I think
that was before.
So, worshiping. But Jesus doesn't... But I think you're right. Jesus did communicate to her that she was loved.
And accepted by him.
And accepted by him because she was completely stunned that he would actually talk to her, because he said, how come you, a Jewish man, talk to a Samaritan woman? It's just not done.
Yeah.
This is just, Jesus shows incredible grace in her eyes. And so when he confronts her like that, it is not condemnatory or anything.
Because she's already, she knows she's accepted. Yeah.
Yes. And I actually, on Sunday, I will tell probably 1 or 2 testimonies of confronting words that were similar, pointing the finger at, what was going on in a person's life. But why do you think frequently people don't mind that much? So if it's not done in an accusing way.
Like if I'm being given a word like that, I wouldn't mind as much, you mean?
Yes. If you receive it. If someone tells
that's
you.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Let's say if someone tells you, you really got problems with money. Yeah, there's greed there, or you got really a problem with gambling or whatever. When someone says that, why, if it's said in a loving way, why is it actually not that bad?
I think, that's why I mean, it has to be in a loving. You have to know that it comes from not an accusing angle,
Yeah.
because I certainly wouldn't mind if someone just said it to
Yeah,
me
yeah.
and I have no connection with the person and I
Yeah.
don't get the vibes that
Yes.
they're actually,
Yes.
you know, trying to do me some good.
Yeah.
But if it's said in a loving way, it's almost a relief. Like if it comes out and it's almost like a repentance, you know, it comes out in the open,
Yeah.
you're being forgiven for that and
Yeah.
you can move on.
Yeah. Because really, your sin is your deepest pain.
Yeah. And you tend to hide it. Like
Yeah.
if it's embarrassing, you tend to hide it.
Yeah, and you are, in bondage by it. Sin is never a blessing in one's life. So finally God says, I point the finger there and I'm actually wanting to redeem it and forgive it and save you from it. And then what's the most loving thing God can do for us?
Well, forgive us.
Save us. Save us from sin. So, deal with the sin in our life so we would have eternal life with Him. Yeah. And so, when the prophetic words come, no wonder frequently they actually touch the finger on something that really matters to us and to God. That sin I want to deal with in your life. Yeah. And in 1 Corinthians, you remember that verse, when an unbeliever comes and is part of your worship service, give prophetic words, and then he will see, that he will be convicted of his sin, and really say that God is among us. And I think it's a bit similar. Yeah. The prophetic word uncovers things that in a loving way.
Lays it bare and then...
lays it bare and can be dealt with. Yeah. So anyway, that's just a bit of a preview for Sunday. So I'm going to preach a little bit on that, and I think we're going to have fun and stories, and I'm mindful that the children will be in church as well. So
you've got a couple of stories.
Nice. They will enjoy as well. But I think the encouragement will be, we know prophetic words, we know words of knowledge, but make the shift to wait on God for words that are actually not for inside the church, but outside the church, for people that actually don't know God. When you go somewhere, just ask God to point someone out and ask God whether He has a word for that person. And then, who knows, you may deliver it.
Amen. It takes courage, but...
It takes courage and practice.
And practice.
Yeah. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye for now.